welcome to another episode of Historically Marked, a Route 66 edition. I am in Peach Springs, Arizona, which is about 37 miles west of Seligman and about 55 miles east of Kingman. But I'm on a really classic stretch of Route 66, and I am on the Wallapai Indian Reservation, and this town serves as the headquarters for it. But there's a couple neat historical buildings that relate to Route 66 in its heyday. So I'll go ahead and take you here, but I'm going to go ahead and give you a little pan shot of what is known as Route 66 Park. So, I mean, it's a really nice park. A few litter here and there, like fast food containers, but here's the sign. On the back is a little historical marker, and it talks about the guy who helped preserve Route 66 relics. Dallas Quasulid Sr. from 1932 to 2010. These grounds belong in spirit and enthusiasm to Dallas, a member of the Wallapai tribe. He was a tribal councilman and elder, was also a highly regarded citizen of the county and graduate of Seligman High School. He served honorably in the United States Army. He worked as a cattle wrangler, among other professions. He served on the Route 66 Association Board as a representative of Peach Springs, which I'm sure is what Angel's daughter was talking about, and in my previous video, and the Wallapai tribe, from 1988 until his walking on in 2010. So, a little bit more about Dallas, if you want to hit pause. Here's a close-up shot of him. So over there is like a restaurant and a hotel, and there's a gas station. So I'm gonna go ahead and go across the street to those two classic buildings. This here is the John Osterman Shell Station. And as you can hear in the background, or see, yes, railroads are prominent here. There was at one time a historical marker here, but I don't know what happened to it. But anyway, as you can see, it's seen a lot better days. So again, this was the John Osterman Shell Station. There are different versions about who and when it was built. One version says a man named John Osterman built it in 1927. Another that his brother Oscar did so in 1932. Oscar also built the Peach Springs Auto Corps Motel next to it, right over there, where the Wallapai Lodge is now located. John left Sweden in 1914 as a sailor on a German ship, which after the outbreak of World War I, he was detained on the Mexican Pacific coast. By chance, he ended up here in Peach Springs, where he opened a gas station on what was then the National Trails Road. And as we all know, it would evolve into Route 66. Now, his brother Oscar came to the United States and he sold him the station. In 1926, hearing that United States Highway 66 would be routed through Peach Springs, he returned. In 1932, the highway was realigned, so he opened a new service station, which he built to resemble the Alamo Mission in San Antonio, Texas. It has a concrete frame with a stepped facade, several bays, and the walls were built with concrete blocks shaped to resemble stone. It remained in operation until the turn of the new millennium. So in other words, about 21 or 22 years ago. In 2007, the Wallapai tribe received a grant of $28,000 from the federal government to rehabilitate the building. Okay. Well, I think I'll take a look. Obviously, this is not a safe place to be standing, because this is all ruins. So then right over there, that's the Wallapai Market, and then that is the post office for this town, and that was the Peach Springs Trading Post. About to lead you there. So that right there is an abandoned building, but this is the Wallapai Game and Fish Center, but this once served as a trading post. So this was started by a guy with the last name Carpenter in 1917, and later added a partner, Ansel Taylor, who bought him out in 1924. They sold supplies to the natives and bought their handicrafts. The original building was a wood frame store that also sold gasoline to those driving along the National Old Trails Road. 1926 was the road was again when Route 66 became commissioned and more traffic drove to the store, boosting business. Ansel Taylor needed more space, so in 1928 he tore down the wood frame store and had the current store stone building built by Cecil Davis. The architectural style on this is more like Pueblo Revival with stone walls, ponderosa pine beams jutting out the walls, large chimneys, and a high facade. Taylor sold it in 1936, and finally it was acquired by the Wallapai tribe in 1950. It served as the post office and store. Post office moved out in 1965, but it only moved like 2 or 3 doors down. But business completely fell off when Interstate 40 bypassed the town in 1978. And of course, here's a marker right here. And while I'm at it, I might as well show you a map, kind of give you a perspective on where I'm at. Now, Suleiman was where I was at. I briefly stopped at the Grand Canyon Springs, which is somewhere right here. Peach Springs is where I'm at currently. And again, this is the line where the Wallapai Indian Reservation is. I am headed towards the towns, the ghost towns of Valentine and Hackberry, and then to Kingman. That is the 1926 to, I believe, 19 alignment. But this map dates back to 1935. Thanks so much for tuning into this episode of Historically Marked. I am Jason in Peach Springs, Arizona, classic Route 66 ep. All right, stay tuned for more Route 66 episodes. I am Jason, signing off.